Hyperlight Drifter is a game made by Heart Machine and was released in 2016 to very positive reviews. I always meant to play it, but only recently got around to actually buying and committing to it because of time constraints and me being lazy. Initially, I'll say this, it's a seemingly very strange game. It's colourful but thematically dark, it's creepy but I don't know why, and the story is vague to say the least. This is a hack and slash top-down combat exploration game with a focus on fast, evasive combat and gunplay, set against a seemingly post-apocalyptic setting. Or pre-apocalyptic. Is this explosion going to happen? Has it already happened and we're trying to restore life to the world? What did this explosion even do? This will all be explained, right? Quick notification here, the first part of this review will just cover basic mechanics and the first part of the game, so no spoilers will be present there. And after this point I'll show a spoiler zone warning so you know I'm about to ruin stuff, including bosses, levels and story. Okay, onwards. Initially, nothing really makes sense. The introductory cutscene is terrifying, and not informative at all. You're then taught how to move, attack, and dash, but nothing more. So you explore your surroundings and end up seeing a sort of city in the distance, which you seem to be moving towards. After being terribly assaulted by a large void monster, you're seemingly rescued by someone and brought to a town. The city in the distance from earlier? We're not sure yet. Ah, this is nice, isn't it? You wake up and start exploring. You can visit what appear to be shops, but what am I buying exactly, and what do I pay with, and who's this shopkeeper, and how do I acquire whatever currency they use? Yeah, this game's vague, did I mention that? Talking to people, well, I say talking, it's more being shown some pictures and trying to figure out what the hell they mean, is difficult at the best of times. Hi sir, so you saw a centipede and it was glowing pink. Oh man, that's the end of the conversation. Okay. Combat is fast and frenetic, focusing on timing your attacks while being ready to dodge away from enemy ones. Enemy design is often similar, a creature which moves around and readies its attack with a brief animation before darting at you, dealing damage if it connects. This means most combat revolves around waiting for an opening, attacking, and then dashing away before the enemy hurls themselves at you in a straight line, or dashing away first and quickly coming in for an attack after they finish theirs. You also have guns which come in various types, but we'll just mention the starting pistol for now. It allows you to shoot in any direction and fires one bullet of its capacity roughly in the direction you aim, meaning there's a slight element of unreliability to it, although it is often safer to shoot an enemy than to get in close with the sword. Your bullets are replenished by hitting enemies and certain objects with the sword, and this makes for a nice payoff for melee attacking enemies, and also means you can't sit out of a fight forever and spam projectiles, as you'll run out quite quickly. Healing is done via health packs that you find around the world, and they heal you to full health no matter what health you're on, which means you can play a high risk high reward game by leaving yourself at 1 pip of health before you use a health pack to get the most efficiency out of one, or you can use them fairly often to make sure you don't get killed by something that does say 2 damage or 3 damage in one hit. But obviously you'll burn through first aid packs a lot quicker this way. The game's music is very nice, quite reminiscent of things like Blade Runner and other quite creepy, strange sci-fi films. There's always an eerie tone to the game which is enhanced by the sparse, often jarring noises within the score. Okay then. Visuals are also sparse. I'm noticing a theme here in their style, but quite rich in presentation, from small birds and animals moving around the environments to the larger scale scenes of fallen giants. Aesthetics are varied and more than suitable for a short game like this one. And slight spoiler here, but the game is about 6 hours long. That's how long it took me to do just the base game. Collected hardly any collectibles, and just wanted to know what the story was, basically. Okay, so that's the basics for this game out of the way. Spoilers for the entire thing will be ahead. spoilers for the story, spoilers for the levels, spoilers for the quite cool bosses, spoilers for everything. So if you want to play this game, if you like what you've seen, just go buy it and probably don't watch the rest of this video till you've completed it. After looking around this introductory town, you find out that upward seems to be the way you're prompted to go. And this leads to the game's first level. There aren't really levels, just areas, but we'll call the 4 quadrants up, down, left and right of the map levels for ease of speaking. So the key idea behind this game is to collect these triangular pieces of the larger diamond shapes. So when we get to the first area, the one above the town we were in earlier, we have to explore that area, find enough of these small triangles found in the little pull-up vials that remind me of those things from the end of Alien, where Ripley has to push those little things into the self-destruct. Anyway, when you have enough, you can go fight the area boss. Activate a monolith, which corresponds with one in the town's main square. And then return to town, spend your gear bits, the small yellow squares you collect from killing enemies and exploring the environment, and then you move on to the next area. In this case, it's left. You rinse and repeat this 4 times till you've done all the segments, up, down, left and right, and we'll get onto what this monolith does later, but for now, let's just go over what these 4 levels are actually like. The left area is a sort of purple-hued autumnal forest setting with some cool enemies. The wolves from earlier come back, these sort of samurai that dash at you are introduced, and it's quite a nice place, quite interesting to look at. Exploration can be quite dull, it's sort of just like, oh, pop behind this tree and there's a hidden bit of wall. I don't know, a lot of people love stuff like that. It's sort of Dark Souls hidden wall inspired, but I don't know, it seems a bit random to me. But this area is quite nice. You do the usual, collect the 4 triangle pieces you need to get to the boss, fight the boss. Activate the monolith and go back to town, spend your gear bits, upgrade your weapons, upgrade your health, and get better equipped for the next area, which is right. The right area is a much more idyllic, almost holiday-like setting. You get to a sort of island that's constructed of loads of big pieces of stone connected together quite randomly into a big square area. I like all of the decorations around here. It's really nice. The music's a lot nicer than the other places, as in not better, but just nicer to listen to. And I just found this area a lot more peaceful and enjoyable and nice to explore, rather than sort of having to wade through a forest and look behind all the trees. Yeah, this area is a lot nicer. One of my favourite parts of the entire game was here, and it's where you walk into this middle watery area and find another one of the dead giants. I finished the game and I'm still not sure what the relevance of the giants is. Maybe if you do all the side quests, collect everything, that story is revealed to you, but I have to say I wasn't really into the game enough to finish everything, so I'm not sure what the relevance of these is, but my favourite part of the game was finding them just because they look so cool. Anyway, we collect our triangle pieces, open the boss door, fight the huge toad. Activate the monolith part for the right section of the map and go back to town, spend our gear bits, and then onto the bottom area of the map. Just as a side note here, this short clip shows you that the bottom area has to be done last, so these areas do have to be done in a certain order, as they're blocked off by these small blocks. This bottom area of the map, the last of the 4 areas in the game, is quite a dry, drab sort of desert area. After you go through some of the underground chambers, there are some really cool sort of side bosses, and a particularly cool one where you pull up one of the pink vials and it happens to be a boss, so which, I mean, it's basically the Dark Souls chest of death, but that's fine. It still got me. After we fight this final boss in the bottom area, we can activate the final monolith and return to the city and go and inspect it and see what's changed. After activating all of the monoliths throughout the 4 levels, we now find that the pedestal in the centre of the town is complete and has activated a lift for us. We take this downwards deep into the world and into a sprawling neon city. After exploring it briefly, we find a huge door, and behind it is the huge void monster that assaulted us earlier in the woods. After teaching it a lesson about how to treat strangers, we stagger slowly, presumably dying out of the cityscape, and onto a bonfire where we rest. The world above us seems to collapse. The dog gets in his lift and leaves, and we're left standing on the ocean. Which is now clean and pure, rid of the evil that plagued it. What happened in this game? I don't really know. Would I recommend it? Well, if you want deep immersive story, no. But if you're into top-down hack and slash games with tight combat, ambient music and some nice pixely visuals, yeah, sure.